Someone asks how you're doing, and immediately you respond, I'm fine, I'm good, without giving it much thought. But I wonder how often we answer that question before we check in and really ask ourselves first. I call these the invisible moments, the moments where we quietly leave ourselves before we even realize it's happening. I'm Nicole Byrne, a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today I want to slow down a very common theme. I want to be clear first about something. Sometimes responding with, I'm fine, is the right answer. Not every conversation is an invitation to share how you're actually doing in depth. Not every person is someone you want to go deep with. So there's nothing wrong with a quick surface answer when the moment calls for it. The question I'm interested in is different. How you were before you answered. Because that is something that's very different. I notice this a lot in my work with my clients. Someone asks a client how they're doing, and the answer comes out immediately, automatically, fine, good, busy. But when I gently ask them what was happening in that moment before they answer, my clients will often pause and they'll say something like, I don't know, I didn't really think about it, which is honest. And it's also interesting because it tells me that the question of how are you stopped being a question they were answering for themselves, and it just became a question to move through. So why does this happen? When you've spent a long time oriented towards others, tracking people's moods, anticipating their needs, trying your best to not to disappoint people, sometimes you genuinely don't know, and sometimes you do know, but it feels surprisingly uncomfortable to stay there because now the tension is on you. And if you've spent a long time trying not to take up too much space, being the focus of attention and care can feel really unfamiliar. So then it's often easier to redirect with, I'm fine, how are you? And just like that, your attention moves back to where it's always felt safest. On its own, answering I'm fine probably isn't a big deal. You're probably like, why are you spending time talking about this? We all do it. The problem isn't one conversation. It's when it becomes the default pattern. When every time someone asks how you are, your attention immediately moves away from yourself. These moments start to add up. Over time, you can stop expecting yourself to know the answer, and eventually someone asks how you're doing, and the most honest answer becomes, I don't know, because you've gotten so used to looking outward that looking inward no longer comes naturally. The goal isn't to stop saying I'm fine. Sometimes you are, and sometimes that's exactly the right answer. Maybe the next time someone asks how you're doing, instead of answering right away, give yourself a beat. Just enough time to check in with yourself first. And if the most honest answer is, I actually don't know, that's okay. You could even say it. Like, thanks for asking. I'm actually not sure. Or, thank you for asking. That is a bigger question than I know how to answer right now. You don't owe anyone a polished answer, but you do deserve the chance to hear your own. If this resonated, I've linked a recent blog and a few videos below that explore what self-abandonment actually looks like and why it so often happens in these quiet, ordinary moments. And if you've been watching these videos thinking, I understand the pattern, but I really just don't know how to change it, that is the work that we do in therapy. Offer a complimentary 20-minute consultation if you'd like to learn more or discuss anything that you're wondering. I've linked that below, and I'll see you in the next invisible moment.